Okay, welcome to part 6 of the Triumph TR6 race car engine rebuild. Today, first off, I've installed the block seals in the front and the rear. I've double checked the torque specs on the rod and main bearings. But today's topic is going to be about the oiling system. And if you're doing a street car, the stock oil pan and oil pump are okay, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a race car for road racing. And here's the problem with the stock setup. This is the stock oil pump. And the pickup tube is on the driver's side of the oil pan. And a lot of the road courses around America go counterclockwise. Counterclockwise. That means that on the long left-hand corners, the oil is going to be thrown up against the passenger side of the oil pan, and your pickup tube is going to be sucking air, and then you're going to blow out your rod bearings, and the connecting rod's going to break, and it's going to go through the block. So over the years, here's what I've done to help prevent that. First off, we're going to use what is called a crank scraper. This fits. You'll need an oil pan gasket and then a crank scraper. This fits here, and these extensions get very close to the rotating crankshaft, and it keeps excess oil from wrapping around the crankshaft at high speeds and throwing it off balance, and it puts it down in the oil pan where you need it. Also, I've taken 2 oil pans to make 1 oil pan. I sectioned an oil pan, threw that away, split this one apart, and I lowered the oil pan by 5/8 of an inch. If you go any deeper, you'll scrape the bottom on your lowered suspension for road racing, so you can't do that. Also, on the inside, I've added some baffles and some little flap doors using door hinges so that the oil cannot escape. Oil can go into this area, but it can't escape from this area under high G-force banking. Also, I've taken the oil pump and I've extended the pickup tube, as you can see. And in my deepened oil pan, this pickup tube is closer to the center of the oil pan instead of off to the driver's side. And it's within a 1/4 of an inch of the bottom of the oil pan. I haven't had any oil starvation problems since then. And so once the crank scraper's in place, and you have to do some testing, rotate the crankshaft, make sure it's not touching any of the extensions, which is very common. Then you have to grind those for clearance. It's easy to do, but just take your time. Do trial and fits of trial and fits. And then you'll get the oil pump installed, and there's some passages in the oil pump that you can open up for better flow. And then you'll put the oil pan on, but you have to have the engine right side up to put this on, but you'll understand why. Next is the oil pressure relief valve. Now here's the way it comes from the factory, and it comes with this little spring. That's the tension. But what I've done, and this will give you 40 pounds of pressure during street use, but for racing you may want some more of that. So what I've done is I've taken this little washer. It's about a 1/16 or 3/32 of an inch thick, and I modified it to go in here on this piston, and then the spring. And by doing this, this will increase your oil PSI to about 80 PSI when cold, in between 50 or 60 when it's hot during racing, and that's going to help you with your oil pressure. And by opening up some passages in the oil pump, you can get some better flow. And all this is critical for your racing. And this completes part number 6 for the Triumph engine race car engine rebuild. Thank you.